students, welcome back to Appleby Academy's classes. So as we know that for commerce students, December 2021 and June 2022 exam is held by 3 shifts. Okay, the first 2 shift was held on 29th September and the remaining one that was held on October 14. So in this video, we are going to discuss the questions and answers for commerce exam which got held in 29th September shift 1. So when you're analyzing the question paper, you can see that there are a number of statement oriented questions are asked. Like you can take that if in a particular question, you need to identify 3 to 4 statements, whether they are right or wrong. Then only you are able to derive at the correct option. So here you need proper time management. Then only you are able to answer all these questions in time. Like they are also asking, in case of some process, they are asking you to arrange them in proper order and match the following question. So all these kinds of questions are much more time consuming. So if you haven't a proper time management, it will be difficult for you to crack all these questions in time. So let's start the video. We will be discussing the questions and answers which got held in 29th September shift 1. So let's start with the first question. Which of the following are correctly needed to claim exemption in respect of HRA? So you can see that this is a particular question from the area of income tax, and here it is about the exemption which we are normally including for calculation of HRA. HRA means it's about house rent allowance. So this is a very direct question. I need to identify from these options: salary, place of residence, standard rent, rent paid, HRA received. So we know that we should consider the salary of the person, then place of residence where he is residing. Then standard rent is actually, it is not an exemption in case of calculating HRA. Then rent paid, which is also should be included. Then HRA received. So except C, all options should come. So the correct answer for this question is option C. As you can see that here A, B, D and E only. It does excludes option C, standard cost. So the correct answer is option C. Okay. Moving to the next question. Multicollinearity in regression analysis is measured by. This is a question from statistics unit and it's about regression analysis. You have the options tolerance, homoscedasticity, partial F-test, Durbin-Watson statistic. Okay, it's a very direct question. It's about the various regression analysis. You can see this particular area in your statistics module. It's about regression analysis and correlation. When you're going through that particular area, you can find this topic and the correct answer is tolerance, option A. Moving to the third question, here you can see that it is a sequencing the steps, or you need to arrange the process. So as I already mentioned in the beginning of this session, you can see many questions like which is related to process. You need to arrange them in a proper order. So this is something which is like that. Here you need to identify the proper process which is related to design thinking process. This is the area which is actually related to HRM unit, and the options, when you're coming with the options, ideate, test, empathize, define and prototype. Okay, so you need to arrange them in a proper order. Okay, so this is a process which actually start with empathize and that got ends with test, B, test. So an option which starts with C and that would end with B. So the correct answer is option C, C, D, A, E, B. Okay, so the correct answer is option C. Moving to another question, fourth question. Which one of the following pricing method is used in regulated industry? So this is about pricing methods. So this is a common area. You can see the different types of pricing methods in economics and also for a marketing management unit. And here you need to identify if the pricing method which is suitable for a regulated industries. So there are different types of pricing like markup pricing, target rate of return pricing, economic value to customer pricing and competitive pricing. So if it is a regulated market, it is always better to use target rate of return pricing. So when you are dealing with the question, even the previous year question, you can see that generally they are asking question from this pricing method as this is a portion which is actually included in economics and marketing management also. So you can generally expect a question from this pricing method every year. So anyway, this time they got asked, it's about the type which you need to use if it is a case of regulated industry, and the correct answer is option B, target rate of return pricing. Moving to next question, which one of the following statements is false? Option A, arithmetic mean is used to measure the deviation in calculating standard deviation due to its least squares property. So you can see that this is also a question from statistics unit, and option A is saying about arithmetic mean, okay, and option C is about z-score value of x is the ratio between x divided by mean. So it's about the calculation of z. Then coefficient of variation is calculated as follows: sigma mean divided by sigma multiplied by 100. Okay. So x bar means it's about specifying about mean, and sigma it's about standard deviation, and if you are multiplying it with 100 you will get coefficient of variation. Okay. Then standard deviation can be equal to 0 in some situations. So in some specific situation there is a chance. So here you need to identify the incorrect one. Anyway, it's very direct that z score is not, we are not able to calculate the value of z with the ratio between x divided by mean. So the correct answer for that question is option B, because which is the incorrect one in the given options. Okay. Moving to the sixth question, which of the following factors restrain globalization? So you can see that this question is from your first unit, business environment, and it is related to international business and all. Here you need to identify the factor which is restraining globalization. Okay, so international economic integration, nationalism, emerging trade barriers, regulatory control, move towards free marketing system. Okay, and here also you need to identify a combination of answers. Okay, so when you are moving through the options, you can see that it should include nationalism, then emerging trade barriers. Barrier is also a constraint or restraint for this globalization. That is also a reason for it. And regulatory control is also making the globalization, or it is also like giving some hindrances for globalization. So B, C, D. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Moving to another question. So here you can see that two statements is given, and based on that you need to identify whether these statements are correct or wrong. And this is actually a part which is related to insurance. Okay. So statement 1, in the case of life insurance, the insurable interest must be payable in the person insured at the time when the event happened. Statement 2, in the case of fire insurance, the insurable interest must be presented in the object insured at the time when the policy is taken and the event has happened. So statement 1 is about life insurance, situation of life insurance, and statement 2 is specifying about a fire insurance. Okay. So when you are going through the options, you need to identify whether both these statements are true or false, or any of them is true or false. So when you are taking the first case, the thing which is specified about life insurance contract is not correct, and when you are coming with fire insurance, yes, the insurable interest must be present in the object at the time when the policy is taken and the event has happened. So the first statement is true and second one is false. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Moving to 8th question, according to contingency approach, the factors governing span of management are. So you can see that this is a question from your human resource management, and here it is about, based on contingency approach, you need to identify the factors which is governing the case of span of management. Okay. So span of management means it's the ability of the management to control how much people can be controlled by a particular manager, number of people that can be properly controlled by the management. Okay. So what will be the factors? Type of work, ability of manager, ability of employees, level of management, geographic location. So based on that, you need to identify B and C, B, C, D, A and D and E only, then A, B, C, D and E. That means all these options should be there. Okay. So when you're considering about span of management, you should consider which type. Based on the type only we can specify how much people can be allocated to a particular person. So the type, ability of both employer and manager is also very important. Employees and management is also important, and you need to consider about the level of management and also about geographic location. So all these options should be there to derive at your correct option. So the correct answer for this question should be option D, A, B, C, D and E. Okay. So now you have a match the following question. The list 1 is saying about the objectives of business firm, and list 2 is the person who suggested these objectives. So this is actually a topic from economics, business economics, and here you can see that option A, sales revenue maximization, B, maximization of firm's growth rates, option C, long-term survival, option D, satisfying behavior. So when you're considering this question, the similar question is also asked in previous year, like which is related to this objectives of the firm, and that was also like a match the following question. Okay, so here you need to identify the person suggested by this. It's a very direct question, just you need to allocate the correct option with it. Okay, so sales revenue maximization is actually related to Baumol, and the maximization of firm growth, which is actually related to Robin Maris. Growth rate is related to Robin Maris. C is about long-term survival, which is Rothschild, and satisfying behavior is also related to Seart and March. So when you're going through the information which is given in your table, there were questions which is related to the same topic in your previous year. Like for match the following also, you just have the same pattern. But also they are asking some single question, like the objective of maximization of firm's growth rate, which is related to or which is suggested by which person. Such questions were already asked from this particular topic. So this topic is very important, and the correct answer for this question is A. Moving to the 10th question, on which of the following bases buyers are divided in psychographic segmentation? So this is actually from marketing, and it's about segmentation, STP process, segmentation, targeting, processing. So we know that there are different types of segmentation. That means you can segment a market on different bases. So here it is saying about psychographic segmentation. So if you are making a segmentation based on psychographic factors, which all are the factors you need to consider in it? Okay, so we already done video which is related to the psychographic segmentation and all. So you can check all those videos to get the information which should be included, or the factors which is actually included in a psychographic segmentation. Okay, so loyalty status, lifestyle, buyer readiness stage, values, user status. Okay, so loyal status is not actually a part of psychographic segmentation, but B, lifestyle is actually a part, buyer readiness is not actually a part, values, yes, it's also a part. So you can see that B and D should be there. Yes, the correct answer for this question is option A, B and D only. Moving to the 11th question, which one of the following expressions is not correct to calculate the coefficient of correlation between two variables? So here this you can see that this is a particular question from statistics unit, and you need to identify an incorrect option or the equation which is not suitable for the calculation of coefficient of correlation. Option A, sum of xy divided by n sigma x multiplied by sigma y. B, square root of byx multiplied by bxy. Option C, covariance of xy divided by sigma square x sigma y square. And option D, covariance of xy sigma x multiplied by sigma y. So when you are going through the option, you can see that sigma x square or sigma y square, all these things, we are not actually taking squares of that. So you can actually say that option C is not a perfect equation for calculating coefficient of correlation. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Moving to the 12th question, here you can see that this is a question with regards to LLP, Limited Liability Partnership. We are actually dealing this topic in your legal aspects of business, that particular unit. So out of the following statement, which are not true in respect of limited liability partnership. So you need to identify the incorrect statement with regards to the given statement. Option A, there must be at least one designated member at all time. So if you are very familiar with LLP Act, it is very easy to answer this question. We know that at least there should be two designated partner. So from the first option itself, you can identify that option A is wrong. Option A should come in your option. So yes, but you're going through the option, you can say that in option A and option B, both the situation A is already specified. Then moving to B, designated members do not have same rights and duties as any other member. So the duties and rights are not same. Okay, not same is given here. So we can see that the duties and liabilities, or the duties rights, are most of all these were common for both of these. Okay, so B is also incorrect. There is no specific requirement to have any non-designated member. A limited liability partnership may be established such all the members are considered to be designated members. So yes, you can actually say that option A and B should come in your correct answer. So the correct answer for this question is option B, A and B only. Moving to 13th question. Which one of the following is used for international money transfer? Direct question. This is actually from banking. And here you need to identify the international monetary transfer, which you can use. A very direct question, a very simple. RTGS, NEFT, SWIFT and IMPS. If it is for international money transfer, you should go for SWIFT. That is option C. Coming to the 14th question. Given below are two statements, one is labeled as assertion and other is labeled as reason. Assertion, R squared tends to be smaller for cross-sectional data than for time series data. Reason, wider fluctuations in cross-sectional data causes smaller value of R square. So this is actually from statistics unit, and based on that you need to identify whether this assertion is true, reason is true or false, and you need to identify whether this reason is supporting this assertion. So by reading this, we know that both these statements are correct and R is actually giving an explanation with regards to assertion. So why why this R square is smaller in case of cross-sectional data. So that is actually cleared in your reason. So you can see that A and R are correct and R is the correct explanation for A. So correct answer is option A. Question number 15. Amount unutilized in capital gain scheme for which exemption was claimed under section 54 shall be treated as long-term capital reserve in the previous year. Okay, so this is from your income tax module and it is about one of the heads of income, that is about capital gain. So the options given: in which period of 2 years has expired from the date of deposit, in which period of 2 years has been expired from the date of transfer, in which period of 3 years has been expired from the date of deposit, and option D, in which period 3 years has expired from the date of transfer. It is about the in which the period 3 years that got expired, and it is from we are considering from the date of transfer. Okay, so the correct answer is option D. Question number 16. Okay, question number 16 is actually related to economics, business economics, and this is specifically asking about one of the market form, that is monopoly. Which of the following statement regarding price and output determination under monopoly are correct? So you need to identify the correct statement which is related to the price and output determination in case of monopoly market form. A monopoly firm can fix its price anywhere along its demand curve. Option B, even during short run, when a monopoly firm earns normal profit, it produces less than its optimum capacity. Option C, the slope of monopoly's MR is twice the slope of AR curve. Price discrimination is possible only when the demand curve are identical in two markets. Option E, equilibrium price of a monopolist is always higher than that of perfectly competitive firm. Okay, so you need to identify the correct statement from the given statement. Okay, so anyway, the correct option include B, C and E only. B, C and E only. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Question number 17. SEBI's skin in the game rule is applicable to which of the following financial intermediaries? You can see that this is a question from your banking module and you need to identify where you can actually apply the skin in the rule agreement or skin in the rule, which is applicable in case of whether which category of intermediaries, if it is for merchant bankers or financial advisors or mutual funds or for brokerage. The correct answer given by NTA was option C, that is mutual funds. Question number 18. Which one of the following is not coordinated in vertical integration of integrated marketing communication? So this is a question from integrated marketing communication. You can see that this is a topic we are actually dealing in your unit, marketing management, and you need to identify which is not actually coordinated, not need to be coordinated in case of a vertical integration, if it's a case of vertical integration. Pricing, sales, product development, customer service. If it is a case of vertical integration, there is no need to coordinate the one which is pricing. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Pricing. Question number 19. The share capital of RRB is subscribed by the central bank, state government, state government, and the sponsoring bank in which of the following ratios? So you need to identify the ratios to be by this RRBs to be subscribed. Is it 40 is to 40 is to 20, 50 is to 15, 35, 50 is to 35 is to 15, 60 is to 30 is to 10. So the correct answer for this question is option B, 50 is to 15, 35. So moving to question number 20. Currency depreciation in the Indian rupee in recent times has largely been attributed to. So you can see that this is actually a question from your international business, that is related to business environment and all, unit 1. So you need to identify what are the reasons for that. Okay, declining domestic savings, increasing FDI flows, portfolio outflows, higher currency circulation, higher import and debt servicing. Based on this, you need to identify the best combination for that. Okay, so when you're going through the option, you can actually include options portfolio outflows and higher import and debt servicing was the reason for such currency depreciation. So based on that, option with C and D, correct answer for this question is option D. Now question number 21. Which one of the following is not a marketing tactic used for designing customer value? So this is from marketing module. You need to identify which is not a marketing tactic, which is normally using for designing the customer value, to create customer value. We are not using one of this. So identify which is that. Okay, is that service, communication, brand, incentives? So it is communication. We are not actually using communication as a marketing tactic for creating this customer value. Okay, so the correct answer is option B, and that was a direct question. Question number 22. So the 22nd question was actually related with World Bank. Okay, so which one of the following is not the guiding principle of World Bank regarding its lending operation? Again, it's a direct question which is related to the guiding principle of World Bank. Proper assessment of the repayment prospectus of loan. Lending should only for specific projects which are economically and technically sound and of high priority nature. The lending should be to enable a country to meet foreign exchange content of the project cost. The bank does expect the borrowing country to spend the loan in a particular country. So, which is not actually not the guiding principle. That was actually option D. The bank does not expect the borrowing country to spend the loan in a particular country. Okay, that is not at all a principle by this World Bank. So, you can actually say the correct answer for this question is option D. Next question, question number 23. RBI Financial Inclusion Index quality parameter captures information on which of the following? So, which is actually included in it? If it is financial literacy, consumer protection, ease of access, availability and usage, inequality and deficiency in service. It is about financial literacy is included there, then customer protection is included there, ease of access and availability and usage is not actually included, and E, inequality and deficiency in service is also included. So, A, B, E. Yes, the correct answer for this question is option D. Next, question number 24. This is actually related to marketing process of an enterprise. So, see, again you have a question, you need to arrange them in proper order. Okay, so we already saw one question. So, again we have question from this marketing area. Here it is about making an sequence related to marketing process of an enterprise. Okay, so market mix, marketing program and implementation, market planning, then market research, control and evaluation of marketing program. Anyway, we know that it is going to end with such an evaluation. So, E should be the last one that should come for the options. So, when you're going through the option with that idea, you can see option A, C, D. In all option, the answer is ending at option E. Then you need to identify the first one which you can actually include in case of marketing process. So, based on the given information, you can actually go for market research. First of all, you need to conduct a research. Based on that, you are able to make decision. That means if it is related to mix, and implementation, all these will come after that only. So anyway, the first option should start with D and it should end with E. So there is only one option which start with D and end with E, that is option A, DCABE. That is first market research, then it is about market planning. Based on that research, you need to plan, then you need to create your mix, then you need to implement. After implementing, you need to control and evaluate it. So the correct answer is option A. Question number 25. Which of the following statement regarding the short-term theory of production and cost analysis are false? Again, you have a question from economics, business economics, and here you need to identify the incorrect statement with regards to product and cost analysis. Economic rent is same as economic profit. Imputed cost is rent of a hired building. When AC is equal to MC, AC is minimum. When MC is rising, AC is greater than MC. Output is optimum when AC is equal to MC. So here you need to identify the false statement, okay, the incorrect one, okay. So when you are coming with option B, imputed cost is something like implicit cost. That means cost of your own building. That means if you are calculating the rent of on building, you can say that it's an imputed cost because there is no cash outflow is actually happening here. But it is given that imputed cost is a rent of hired building, not at all. If it is your building, your own building, you can say that there is an imputed cost, but it is a case of hired building. So that is not at all a case. So B should come in your option. Then what about C? If AC is equal to MC, AC is minimum. But when you are coming with option D, if MC is rising, AC is greater than MC. That is false. So D should also come in your option. Output is optimum when AC is equal to MC. Yes. So the correct answer for this question is option B, B and D only. Both these statements are incorrect with regards to the short-term theory of production and the cost analysis. Okay. Now question number 26. Which one of the following represent empirical generalization relating to GDP growth and changes in unemployment? So this is about gross domestic product growth and something related to the changes in unemployment and all. So here you need to identify which is that situation related to that. Okay. So Phillips curve, misery index, Pareto distribution and Auken's laws. So which is something which is related to Auken's laws. So the correct answer for this question is option D. That was also a direct question. Now you have a match the following question. So here the first table is saying about the characteristics of business and the second one is the description which is related to that. Okay. So based on this characteristics, you need to identify the proper description with regards to that. So cash cow, crown jewels, fallen angels, white square. So cash cow, we know that it's the one we are actually discussing in case of BCG matrix. So when if you're able to identify it is from this BCG matrix, then it is very easy for you to match. As you can see that in your list 2, option 3 is about a BCG term of business which have high market share and a low market growth. So the thing just you need to know this is from BCG matrix, then only you can actually go with option 3 is the correct answer for A. So A3 should come, A3. So see, if you are able to identify A3, then you are able to derive it your answer. Okay, A3, there is only one option which starts with A3. Then B, crown jewels, yes. What do you mean by this crown jewels? That is a most important or most valuable thing in a particular company, the most valuable segment of a company. Okay, so the most wanted by an acquirer, that means a particular, we are actually discussing this crown jewels and all in case of corporate accounting. Okay, so see, this cash cow is a particular area which is from your marketing, but when you're coming with crown jewels, see that you can identify this in case of corporate accounting. So a number of areas are actually they got included in a single match the following question. Okay, so you can actually match B with 1. Then C, fallen angels. Fallen angels is actually related with the 4th option. Okay, so that is a bond which is issued but at investment grade whose rating is subsequently dropped to below the investment grade. And finally, it's about D, white square. We can actually include it with the second option, that is a third party friendly to management who helps a company to avoid unwanted takeover with taking over the company on its own. Such situation is known as white square. We are actually saying some other terms also related to this amalgamation and mergers in case of this takeover, which is related to this particular topic. Okay, so yes, A3, B1, C4 and D2. So the correct answer is option D. Question number 28. Which of the following companies cannot be a small company? So you can see this particular area in your legal aspects of business when you are dealing with Companies Act. There are different types of company. We are discussing about a number of classification of company which we already discussed in detail in our LMS. So you need to identify which is something which is not related to small company. Okay, so there are certain, the turnover prescribed, the number, all these things which we already, the turnover, the net worth for a small company is different from that of the other company, which we already discussed in our previous videos. So here a holding company or a subsidiary company, a company registered under Section 8 company, then a company or body corporate governed by any special act, one-person company. So you need to choose the correct one. Okay, so cannot be a small company. So see, a holding company or subsidiary company, can it be a small company? No, that is not a situation. Okay, so you can actually, you are not able to include it. A company which is registered under Section 8. No, Section 8 companies are charitable company, which is their main objective is charity. So we should not be there. Then when you're coming with option C, a company or body corporate governed by any special act. If it is specifying about some special act, we can't include it as a small company. A one-person company, you can call them as a small company. Okay. So you can see that in this A, B, C, all these situations all these can't be a part of a small company. But if a one-person company, if you're saying about the turnover and all, it can come under the category of small company. So the correct answer for this question is option B, as it does not include A, B and C. Okay. Now moving to question number 29. Which one of the following is not true for authority? Okay. So this is from HRM and it's about management. So you need to identify an incorrect statement or which is not true for this authority. It is the legitimate right of the superior to command and compel his subordinates to perform a certain act. Correct. It's about if you're giving an authority, means that particular person can guide or that particular person can actually give orders to their superiors. I mean subordinates. So A is actually correct. Okay. Then B, it is mostly well defined, conspicuous and finite. Yes, it should be defined well. Otherwise, how that person is going to employ his authority? So B should also, B is also a situation or that statement is also correct with regards to authority. It can be delegated. Authority can be delegated. Okay, authority can be delegated. That is correct. Then it serves as a basis for both formal and informal organization. Does it giving any basis for informal organization? No, not at all. So you can go for the option D. It serves as a basis for both formal and informal organization. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Now moving to question number 30. Sweezy's kinked demand curve model to explain the price and output determination relates to which type of market structure? Okay, so again a question from business economics, and you can see that this is the second question that we are actually identifying from the area of forms of market. We already saw a question which is related to monopoly. So see, again they got asked a question. This is actually from oligopoly. Okay, and now you need to identify this Sweezy's kinked demand curve model. We are actually explaining Sweezy's kinked demand curve with oligopoly, which is a very, very direct question. You can actually go for option D, oligopoly. Okay. Moving to question number 31. While wandering in jungle, King Dushyant married Shakuntala as narrated in Abhigyana Shakuntalam. He gave her royal ring which could serve her identity when she would come to meet him in future. However, she had lost the ring while she is going to meet him. When she arrived at Dushyantan's palace, he failed to recognize her as she did not have the ring. Which of the following statistical error King Dushyant had committed in this narrative? So here you can see that this is a question which is actually from your business statistics unit, and here it is asking about the error, which type of error that King Dushyant had done based on the given example. So the correct answer for this question is type 1 error. As we know that type 1 error is rejecting a hypothesis when it is true. Okay, so here this King Dushyant is actually rejecting her as she did not carry that ring, even though she is her wife, right? So in such a situation, it is a situation which is similar to rejecting a hypothesis when it is true. So you can actually connect this with the type 1 error. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to another question, again you have a question where you need to arrange them in proper sequence, and this is a question which is from income tax module. Again you have question from ITR. When you are just going through the previous year question, you can see that previous year also they are asking questions directly from this ITR 2 to 3 times, and here also you have question from ITR. So just see. Sequence of procedure for e-filing of ITR 1 and ITR 2. A. Login. B. Register. C. Verification. D. Downloading utility and preparing return. And E. E-filing income tax return. So you need to make them in proper order. So when you're coming to the answer, it is actually B. As you can see that it is actually starting with registration. So firstly it is about registering. Then you need to log in. After making registration, you can just log into it. Then it is about verification. Then you can download it and you can make prepare your return. And finally, it is about e-filing income tax return. Okay, so that is a proper order. So the correct answer for this question is option B. The ITR, that particular area is very important. Every time they are actually asking question from this particular area. So moving to question number 33, match list 1 with list 2. So list 1 is about tariff and subsidy, list 2 is about its explanation. So this is a topic which is actually from your first unit, that is business environment and international business, where you need to study various tariff and subsidies plans and all. So when you are moving to your list 1, it is about A, tarification, B, prohibited subsidies, C, actionable claims, and D, non-actionable subsidies. And list 2 is about its explanation. They have demonstrably adverse effect on other member countries. They act on goods which are contingent upon export performance, replacement of existing non-tariff restriction, and finally, for industrial research in disadvantaged region. So here you need to match them in a proper order. So when it is about tarification, you can actually match it with replacement of existing non-tariff restriction. Okay, so that process is known as actually tarification. So A3. So there is only one option which starts with A3. So with that itself, you can just go through the correct answer. Anyway, when you're moving to option B, prohibited subsidies, it is about they act on goods which are contingent upon export performance. And C, actionable subsidies. C can be matched with the first option. They have demonstrably adverse effect on other member countries. And D, non-actionable subsidies can be connected with for industrial research in disadvantaged region. So A3, B2, C1, D4. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Moving to another question which is from income tax module, and the question goes like this. Which of the following are included in salary as per section 17 subsection 1 of Income Tax Act? So it is about the things which you need to include in the definition of salary, or which all are the things you can actually include it for when you are taking the amount as salary, income from salary, which all are the items can be included. So A, it's about wages. B, any pension or annuity. C, any interest from government securities. D, any gratuity. And E, any advance salaries. So here I can actually include all these except C, that is any interest from government securities. You know that it is actually a part of income from other sources which you can't include in this head. Income from salary is a separate head. Okay, so wages should be there, pension or annuity, gratuity, and advance salary. So A, B, D, E. So yes, the correct answer for this question is option C. So like a way that for the next time they can actually ask from house property or other sources, like a way they can actually ask from any sources. Okay, so when you're going to prepare for the next exam, you should always keep that such type of questions will be there. So you should be aware which all things can be included when you're calculating income from that particular head. So question number 35. Which of the following business would most likely use job order costing? A brewery, an oil refinery, a company that makes frozen pizzas, a print shop that specializes in wedding invitation. So this question is very direct and the answer is very simple. As we know that job order costing is a type of costing. It's a specific order costing. Okay. So this is actually from your accounting and auditing unit, and job order costing is a specific type of costing or specific order costing. We normally call it as specific order costing. That means here the process or here the production is actually based on the specialized order from the customer or based on customization, or they are just giving more preference to customization. So based on that, you can actually go for option D, a print shop that specializes in wedding invitation. Okay? Yes. So moving to question number 36, match list 1 with list 2. So list 1 is about marketing concept and list 2 is about its description. So you can see that this is actually from your module marketing management, and list 1 is specifying the major marketing concept and list 2 is about its description. Okay. So A, brand equity, B, brand identity, C, brand image, D, market potential. So list 2. The maximum possible demand for the product when marketing expenditure in the industry is infinite. Then option 2, the mental perception and association of consumers related to a brand. The peculiar distinguishing color, design, label of a brand which distinguish brand of a firm. And fourth, a pool of goodwill consumers have related to a brand. So you need to choose proper you need to choose the proper concept, it is description. Okay, so when you're moving with the first term, that is brand equity, here you can see that the fourth statement, that is a pool of goodwill consumers have related to a brand. Such a pool of goodwill consumers is actually known as brand equity. So you can actually match it with A4. Okay, then the next concept is brand identity. Okay, so when you're moving with brand identity, you can actually match it with option 3, that is the peculiar distinguishing color, design, label of a brand which distinguishes the brand of an other firm. So it is just like distinguishing like a firm from another firm with such a particular color or design, something. So such is known as identification. So that is known as brand identity. So you can match with B with 3. Then C, brand image. Image is about how that particular brand is getting into a particular customer's mind. Okay, so their mental perception is actually about brand image. So you can match C with 2. And finally, market potential is about the maximum possible demand for a product when marketing expenditure in industry is infinite. So yes, A4, B3, C2, D1. So the correct answer for this question is option A. So moving to question number 37, which of the following issues are covered in social marketing? So again a question from marketing, and it's about social marketing. So which all are the contents can be included under the term of social marketing? Tobacco, family planning, public health, financial well-being, social good. Okay. So you can actually go with all these options, like everything can be actually included as per this particular social marketing concept. It includes something about tobacco, it's about family planning, health, then financial well-being, social goodness. So all these things are actually included under the head of social marketing. So you can go with the option D, A, B, C, D, E. So every option is actually included. Okay. Now it's about question number 38. As per which one of the following approaches a firm finance a part of its permanent working capital with short-term financing? So this is actually a question from business finance unit 4. And here it is about the working capital approach. We know that there are different kinds of approach based on how you are financing your permanent working capital and permanent and your temporary working capital. Okay, so here it is specified that you are financing a part of its permanent working capital with short-term financing. You are depending on your short-term financing, then it is aggressive approach. Okay, it is always better to go for, when you are using a permanent working capital, it is always better to go for a permanent source of fund. But if you're going through an aggressive approach, you will depend on short-term funds. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option C. So when you're just going through this particular question, it is not about studying this aggressive approach. You should also go through the different approaches like market matching approach, conservative approach, traditional approach. All these are also important. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option C, that is aggressive approach. So moving to question number 39, again you have a match the following question, and where list 1 is about MBTI framework and list 2 is about its characteristics. So you can see here option A is about sensing, B thinking, C feeling, and D perceiving. And when you're coming to the list 2, it is the first one is about relies more on personal values than on impersonal analysis and logic. That means you're giving more importance to personal values. So based on that, you can actually match it with C. So C1. Then would work with known facts than look for possibilities and relationship. That means you are always giving importance to the non-facts, that you are just avoiding or you're just not giving such an importance to the future possibilities or relationship. You're giving more importance to the facts which is known to you. So you can actually connect this particular thing with the first one, that is sensing. Okay. Then option third one, likes a flexible, spontaneous way rather than a planned and orderly way of life. So here you're just becoming flexible. That means you're just adaptable with the particular situation that is coming to you. Okay, you're not just like rigid. You're flexible. You are able to adapt all the things which is coming to you. Okay. So in such a way that you can actually match it with, I mean the third statement can be actually matched with D. Okay, that is about perceiving. Okay, and finally relies more on interpersonal analysis and logic than on personal values. You're giving more importance to interpersonal analysis. Okay, so that you can actually connect with thinking. Okay, so B4. So A2, B4, C1 and D3. So the correct answer for this question is option B. Moving to question number 40, which one of the following aims at task dimension of organizational change? Again, a question from Human Resource Management, and it is about OZ, organizational change. So broadening or narrowing span of control. What do you mean by span of control? It is about the total number of subordinates that can be efficiently managed by a particular manager. Then diversifying into additional business, improving efficiency of missions and reallocating authority. So you need to identify which is the aim that is actually included in the task dimension of organizational change. So it's a direct question, that is actually option B is about diversifying into additional business. Option B. Question number 41. Pricing practice of setting a price target and then developing a product that would allow the firm to maximize the total profit at that price is called. So this pricing strategy and pricing scheme, all these topics are very important when you're taking your marketing management module and also business economics module. So such a topic is very important as you're getting questions from both these modules. So here you need to identify the pricing practice, like you're making a target price and then developing a product that would allow the firm to maximize. So the pricing should be in pricing policy in a way that it is able to maximize the maximum profit, giving maximum profit for the concern. So this particular process is known as price lining. That is option C. Okay. Moving to question number 42, which of the following are parameters in the Financial Inclusion Index in India? So again, a question from your first unit, that is Business Environment and International Business. You need to identify the parameters that you're actually including for the financial inclusion in India. Affordability, availability and usage, ease of access, transparency and disclosure, quality of financial inclusion. So, when you are taking the parameters, so this question is also direct. Affordability is not at all a parameter which you are actually including for this financial inclusion index. But it is very important that you should include availability and usage, whether all these financial details or the about various financial instruments or various products, if it is available to all people. So the availability and its usage is very important, whether these people are using it. Then yes, we should be there. Then ease of access, whether their availability is easy, okay, easily accessible. Then transparency, what about transparency and disclosure, which is not at all a parameter. When it is about quality, yes, quality of financial inclusion is very important. So B should be there, C should be there, and E should be there. So B, C, E. When you are moving with the options, you can give that the correct option is option D, B, C, and E only. Okay. Now question number 43. Which among the following information shall be disclosed for all public issues of shares irrespective of their issue price? Okay, so this is actually a part of corporate accounting. So based on that, you need to identify which all the things you need to be disclosed. Okay, then if it is about earning per share, dividend payout, pre-issue or price earning ratio, average return on net worth in the last 3 years, net asset value per share based on the last balance sheet. So it is very important that you should disclose your earning per share, and you should also disclose your price earning ratio. It is not necessary that you should disclose your dividend payout ratio. So you can exclude option B, but it should include option A and C. Then also D, average return on net worth in last 3 years. Okay, so the net worth of the last 3 years should be specified there, and also about net asset value per share based on the last balance sheet. So except B, all options should be there. A, C, D, and E. Yes, it is option B, A, C, D, and E only. Now question number 44. Properties of a good point estimator includes which of the following? Again, you have a question from statistics. Here you need to identify the properties of a point estimator. Okay, to become a good point estimator, which all other properties should it possess? Stationality, efficiency, consistency, neutrality, unbiasedness. Okay, so efficiency should be there, right? Efficiency should be there, and it should possess, of course, it should possess consistency. So B and C should be there. And whether it's about something neutrality, no need to be included. And your estimate should be unbiased. Okay, it should not be biased one. So E should be also there. So B, then you should go for C, consistency and unbiasedness. That is, E should be there. So B, C, E. Yes. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Now question number 45, again a question from business statistics, and it is about you need to identify the properties of binomial distribution. So earlier they just asked you about identifying the properties of estimator. Now it is about the properties of binomial distribution. So this time they just asked you about binomial distribution. So next time they can go for normal distribution or Poisson distribution. So it is about probability distributions. So yes, you need to identify its properties. So A, may be symmetrical or skewed. Then unimodal, that means you will get only one mode. Okay. Then bell-shaped and symmetrical. Bell-shaped and symmetrical, see, all these are actually the properties of a normal distribution. Okay. So actually B should not be there. It all possesses, or it all says about the properties of normal distribution. So you can actually avoid option B. Option B should not be there. Then asymptotic to x-axis. Then N and P are two parameters, or mu and sigma are two parameters. So what are the basic parameters that you're actually including in case of binomial distribution? So in case of binomial distribution, we are actually giving importance to N and P. Okay. So yes, so D should be there. We are actually measuring success and failures and all. So anyway, D should be there, and A is also Correct. So A and D. Now option with A and D is actually option B. So the correct answer for this question is option B. So when you're just going through this question, you should identify that you should study about the various features of boson distribution and also about normal distribution. So next time you can expect such a question from this particular area. So moving to question number 46. Which is the most important driver of innovation in a business? Most important driver of innovation. Is it labor, capital, government, or culture? It is actually about the culture. Okay. So that's also a direct question. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Question number 47. Given below are two statements. One is labeled as assertion and another one is labeled as reason. So this is an assertion reasoning question, and this is also from your first unit, business environment and international business. An assertion is an export processing zone is different from free trade zone as it promotes units primarily devoted to exports. And reason, goods imported to a free trade zone may be re-exported without any processing in the same form, but goods exported by the units in an EPZ, that is export processing zone, are expected to have undergone some value addition by manufacturing. Okay, so you can see that it is saying about the export processing zone and how that particular going to improve your giving the value addition in manufacturing and all. So you can see that both this assertion and reason is actually correct, and reason is explaining assertion. Okay, reason is giving why, like an export zone is different from free zone. So why it is that, or what is its importance, which is actually specified in its reason. So you can say that A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to question number 48, this is a question from business statistics, and here you have two statements. You need to identify whether they are right or wrong. The probable error PE of the coefficient of relation is defined as probable error is equal to T minus R square divided by square root of n. So this is actually wrong. We are not taking the value like T. It is just like 1 minus R square. So anyway, statement 1 is not correct. And what about statement 2? When a null hypothesis is true, but the test statistics reject it. This is known as type 1 error in hypothesis testing. See, we already saw a question from type 1 error, and again you have another question or another statement which is related to type 1 error. So anyway, the second statement is actually correct. Okay. So the first statement is incorrect and statement 2 is incorrect. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Okay. Now question number 49. A company has 10% perpetual debt of 1 lakh. The tax rate is 35%. Which one of the following is after tax cost of capital, assuming that the debt is issued at 10% premium? Yes. So this is actually from business finance, and it is about the computation of cost of debt. So every time they are actually asking about making a calculation related to cost of capital, like it can be related to cost of preference shares or equity. So this time it is about cost of debt, and it's a situation of after tax. Okay, as we know that when you're going through the calculation of cost of debt, you have two sets, like it is before tax and after tax when tax is included. So this is about the second part, that is the calculation of cost of debt with the presence of tax or after or after including this tax. Okay, so you with that equation you can actually calculate, and based on calculation you will just get the answer of option B, that is 5.91. So every details is actually there. For calculating cost of debt, you need interest, you need the value of the debt, then it's about the tax rate. So everything is given there. So the interest rate is 10%, the value of debt is 1 lakh, and tax rate is 35%. And now you have this particular debt is issued at a premium. So premium 10% is also given there. Okay. So anyway, by computing this, you will get 5.91%. So we will discuss about all these calculations in another video. Okay. So moving to question number 50. Which one of the following distribution aptly describes the ownership of income and property in a capitalist economy? So here, if you want to answer this particular question, you should know about the basic features of the economy, like different forms of economy and all. So now it is about the properties of capitalist economy. Okay, so capitalist economy means we know that it is giving importance to private ownership. Anyway, the distribution which is describing about the ownership of income and property is actually Pareto distribution, normal distribution, Poisson distribution, F distribution. All these are, we are actually studying all these area in your statistics module, and it's about the probability distribution. Okay, anyway, the correct answer is option D, Pareto distribution. Moving to question number 51. Which section of Indian Companies Act 2013 among the following provides for appointment of first auditors by Board of Directors within 1 month of the date of registration of a company? So this is actually from Indian Companies Act. So when you're taking this particular area, you can actually see this Companies Act in your corporate accounting, that means in your accounting and auditing unit, and also in legal aspects of business. Okay, so this question is very direct. You just need to say about the section which is defining about the appointment of first auditor. So it is about 139 subsection 6 is about the appointment of first auditors. Okay, so moving to question number 52. Which one of the following is not the assumption for consumer behavior based on ordinal utility theory? So again, a question from business economics, and it is about consumer behavior. Okay, so when you are studying about the consumer equilibrium and all, here you need to identify the various features. Okay, you know that there are ordinal utility theories there, then cardinal utility approach is there. So now the question is actually specifying about ordinal utility, and you need to identify which is not the assumption. Okay, So options A, rationality of consumer, B, utility only ordinarily measurable, satiety of demand, and diminishing marginal rate of substitution. Yes. So the correct answer is option C. So this is actually a direct question. When you're just going through the various assumptions of consumer behavior as per this ordinal approach, it is very important and very easy to crack such types of questions. So when you're studying about various theories, if it is like, it can be from economics or it can be from finance or accounting, anywhere, you should always study the assumptions. Okay, when you're checking the questions, you can actually see that they are asking questions from this assumptions of a particular theory. Like, you need to identify which all are the assumptions of this particular theory. So in this question, you can see that it is saying about which is not an assumption. Okay, now we know that they are actually asking more statement questions, or more, you need to make a combination of answers. In such a situation, they can actually ask question from this assumptions. Okay, so when you are studying a theory, make sure that you are studying all the assumptions well. So moving to question number 53. Which of the following are components of McKinsey 7S framework? Again, a direct question which is from marketing, and even based on that name itself, you can actually crack these answers, as it is given that McKinsey 7S framework. So it is saying about 7S. Okay, so when you're just going through the options, you can see that only 3 options which starts its name with S. So based on that itself, you can actually go through the options like shared values, procurement, strategy, technology development, system. So see, here only 3 options which is saying, or which is starting with the letter S. So based on that also, we can actually answer this question. So the pattern or the way they asked this question was very simple. So shared values, A should be there, C should be there, and E should be there. A, C, E. Yes, the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to question number 54. This is an assertion reasoning question. Okay, again an assertion reasoning question. You can actually include this particular area in your first unit and also in your business finance area. So when you're coming with the assertion, by switching to long-term government bonds, the investor acquires an asset whose price fluctuates as the interest rates vary. Reason: bond price fall when interest rate rise and rise when interest rate falls. Okay. So based on this, you need to identify that whether this assertion and reason is true, and whether they are making an explanation, or if it is not giving an explanation, or if it is A is true or R is false, or A is false or R is true. So coming back to a question, you can see that by switching to long-term government bonds, yes, when you're making a switching, or when you're just switching to long-term government bonds, the investor acquires an asset whose price fluctuates as interest rates vary, right? Yes, assertion is true. What about reason? Bond price fall when interest rate rise. So it is just giving an inverse relationship. And if the price is falling, what is happening? The interest rate is rising, and if the interest rate is falling, the bond price will rise. Yes, that is the reason. Okay, so you can say that A and R are correct, and R is the correct explanation of A. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to question number 55. Which one from among the following is not a generic strategy as per generic strategies identified by Porter? So it is about Michael Porter's generic strategy. And based on that, you need to identify which is not a strategy, which is prescribed by Michael Porter. Again, this is also a direct question. There are only 3 elements which is actually specified by Michael Porter in his generic strategic model, which include cost leadership, focus option, and differentiation. Focus, cost leadership, and differentiation. So B, C, D should be there. Market penetration is not at all a strategy which is prescribed by Michael Porter. So the correct answer for this question is A. So this is also a direct question. So when you're just going through the question, you can see that this time they got asked many direct questions from marketing module. Okay, but you are just going through the previous year question, you can see that there, in case of this marketing unit, they are actually asking indirect question. But this time they just shifted that, they are just asking direct question, or you're able to answer them very easily. Okay, anyway, the correct answer is option A. Now moving to question number 56, again a match the following question. So you can see that the number of match the following question and statement question, all these got increased. So it is about you should have a proper time management, otherwise you are not able to cover all the questions. Okay, so just do practice maximum question and always keep time management. Okay, so yes, the list one is about product life cycle stages. It is saying about the various stages of product cycle, and on the different cycles or on these different stages, the pricing strategy you should adopt is given in your list 2. So decline stage, maturity, growth and introduction. Here when you're coming with the pricing strategy, price to match or beat competitors price, charge cost plus price, price reduction, price to penetrate market. Okay, so we are just coming with the first stage. We know that first stage is introduction. So if it's a case of introduction, which is the pricing strategy that you need to use? Okay, so the first time you can actually go for cost plus pricing. That means you're just covering the cost plus you're just adding some margin. Okay, you're just adding some profit. So yes, D can be matched with 2. So D 2. Then you're coming with C, growth. After introduction, you can actually go with the growth. So if it is a case of growth, what is the pricing strategy that you should use based on the given list? It is always better to use the price to penetrate the market. That means you need to go through, or you need to go through deeper into that market. You need to get more customers. So it is just use the price to penetrate the market at the stage of growth. So C can be connected with price to penetrate. Then if it is about maturity, that means that particular cycle is at its maturity. That means you are not able to attain more consumers. You are at your maximum. If it is such a stage, what is the pricing strategy you can use? Price to match or beat the competitors' price. That is the best strategy. And finally, if it is your declining stage, so now you are at declining stage. Now it is better to reduce your price. That is the strategy. That is about price reduction. So you can actually match like A3, B1, C4, D2. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Now question number 57, again a question from income tax, and see here they got asked about ITR1. So see, this particular topic is very, very important. So which of the following cannot use ITR1 form to file return under Income Tax Act? So when you're just going through ITR1, 2, you can see that which all are the people you are able to, or SSC, they are able to use ITR1, ITR2, these are different. Okay, so you need to specifically study about all these one, or which all are the, as I see, they can use ITR1, or which all are the one you just go for Sahaj, okay, or Sugam. All these is very important. And yes, which of the following cannot use ITR1? A, an individual who is a director in a company, an individual who has any asset located outside India, an individual whose total income does not exceed 50 lakh, an individual who has income from any source of outside India, an individual who has any unlisted equity shares at any time during the previous year. Okay, so the first one, yes, if it is a director of company, he can use it. A should be there. Then B, an individual whose asset is located outside India, he can also use it. Then what about an individual whose income is not exceeding 50 lakh, is not actually included, or he is not a person who need to file ITR1. So he should be excluded. An individual whose income from any source outside India, if it is outside India, that's okay, that can also be included. An individual who has any unlisted, yes, if the equity shares is unlisted, and if it is for the previous year, you can actually include him also. So except C, all the other options should be there, A, B, D, E. So the correct answer for this question is option B. So now moving to question number 59, match list 1 with list 2. Again, a match the following question. This is from business statistics. Here the list 1 is saying about the formula, which is for calculating the test statistic, and test 2 is giving you the various tests. Okay, so you just need to identify the formula that you are using for calculating the test statistics in each of these tests. So it's a test, H test, that is Kruskal-Wallis test, F test, chi-square test. So ISIT test is much familiar to us, and we are directly able to answer, able to identify the formula for calculating it. So yes, which is x minus mu divided by SC. So that is very direct. So you can actually match C with 1. So just go through the options. So how many options are there which starts with or which says C1? Okay, so there is only one option which is saying about C1, that is option C. Anyway, we will just go through the other options also. So if you are able to identify that is the test, the equation for it, you are able to arrive at answer very easily. Even though moving to the second one, that is H test. If it is about H test, which is the equation that you need to use for calculating the test statistics. So it is option B, that is 12 divided by n multiplied by n into n, sigma rj square divided by nj minus 3n plus 1. Okay, so you can actually match B too. Okay, then what about the third one, F test or ANOVA, which is the equation or the formula which you can actually use for calculating it. That's the last one, S is between and S is within. And yes, finally it's about chi square. The equation is very simple. Sigma O minus E, observed minus expected value, the whole square divided by E. Okay, so the correct answer is 4, A4. Okay, yes. So the correct answer for this question is option C, that is A4, B2, C1 and D3. Now question number 16. When the price increase of a commodity is followed by increased total revenue, which one of the following is the price elasticity coefficient? So this is from business economics, and here it is giving you a situation like if the price is increasing, we know that if the price increases, automatically total revenue will increase. Which one of the following is the price elasticity coefficient? At that time, what about the elasticity, price elasticity? Just identify about the situation. So it is a situation of less than 1. Okay, like it's a situation of inelasticity. So you can actually go with option D. So when you're studying about elasticity, you need to identify about the price elasticity coefficient or the various situation, what is happening in each of these situations, what is less than elasticity, more than elasticity or unitary elasticity. All these points are very, very important. Okay, again you have the question from business economics. Which one of the following production functions is a long-term production function? So you need to identify the formula that we are, or the function which is actually specifying about this long-term production function. Again a direct question. Q is equal to A plus B L minus C L square. Q is equal to A K LB, that is saying about the exponentials. Q is equal to A plus BL CL squared minus DL3, and Q is equal to A plus BL. Very direct. It is saying about the labor and capital, right? Yes. So the correct answer is option B. Here K is about saying about capital and L is about the labor. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option B. So moving to question number 62, arrange the following ratios in the increasing order of their significance in the prediction of industrial sickness. So here you have various equations is actually given. You can see that this is actually from the part of accounting and auditing, and it is giving focus to management accounting, where you are studying various tools and techniques for financial statement analysis. So when you're going through ratio analysis, you can see all these equations there. Okay. So here you need to arrange all these ratios in an increasing order. Okay, and what is the base that you used for making them in an order? It is about the significance of prediction related to industrial sickness, like the ratio which is able to predict the industrial sickness very easily, or the ratio which is saying about the industrial sickness of a particular company. So you should give them in a increasing order. So the first one, working capital divided by total asset. B, retained earnings divided by total asset. C, earning before interest and tax, that is EBIT divided by total asset. And D, market value of equity shares divided by book value of total debt. And E, sales divided by total assets. Okay, so you need to arrange them in an increasing order. So if you're just going through the given options, you can see that it is saying about a sequence, like you should start with the one with an order of increasing. Like the first one, when you're comparing the first equation with the second one should show more significance on this industrial sickness. Okay, so anyway, the first one was actually market value of equity divided by book value of total debt. So if you are using that, you are able to identify the industrial sickness. Then you can actually go for E, that is sales divided by total asset, which is giving much more significance, or by calculating this particular, or by using this particular equation, you are able to make a prediction of industrial sickness much better than the options which is given in D. So DE, then you can go for working capital divided by total asset, then retained earnings and total assets, and finally it's about earnings before interest and tax divided by total asset. That is the best one which is able to show the industrial sickness. Okay, so it is like D, E, A, B, C. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to another question, question number 63. A company does not include the value of skills gained by its employees from training programs in its annual financial statement. Which one of the following accounting concepts is being applied in this case? So see, this is a question from accounting and auditing module, and it is saying about the accounting principles. So we already discussed about accounting principles and concepts in very detail. So here you need to identify which is the situation, or which concept is specifying that there is no need to record the skill of a particular employee. Okay, so if you're going through going concern concept, we know that it is saying about the life period of company, and if it is about money measurement concept, it is giving specification on a measurement. That means you are able to measure a particular events or the actions which is happening in a company in monetary terms. If you're not able to measure them in monetary value, then such items should not be recorded. So if you're taking the skill of a particular employee, we are not able to monetize that. So based on that, there is no need to record. So see, this is a direct question. And when we discussed about money measurement concept also, we also discussed that it is about an ability or skill of an employee do not find a place in books of accounts. That is because of money measurement concept. So anyway, that was a direct question. If you follow our YouTube channel, that will be very easy for you to answer this question. So that is option B, money measurement concept. Moving to question number 64, which of the following are essential elements for defining a business? Okay. So you need to identify the elements, basic elements which is actually required in business. So you can actually include this even as a like a general question, and you can also include this particular thing in your international business, your marketing area. All these are actually included in this particular question. Yes. So the first one, dealers, products, market, competitors, functions. So if it is a business, there is a product should be there. That is a necessary. Something is there. So product should be there. That is definite. So B should be there. C, market should be there. Market is also necessary. And competitor is not necessary, but you need to function. Okay, function should be there. So B, C, and D are very important, essential elements. That means you are not able to avoid them. Okay, dealers and competitors are some extra things which is happening, okay, which is not an essential element. So anyway, yes, B, C, E. So the correct answer for this question is option A. Now question number 65. Portfolio approach to investing is primarily focused on which of the following? Portfolio approach, so this is from your international business. And what is the purpose of this portfolio approach? Like you are just giving a number of securities is actually included in it that. So it is just to reduce your risk, or it is giving focus to risk element in business. So it is not for diversification, or that is not its primary purpose. Okay, its primary purpose is about risk optimization. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Now you have question number 66. This is a question from market forms, that is in business economics, and here they got asked about perfect competition. So see this question, which of the following statements are true regarding price and output determination under perfect competition? So this is actually the question which is asked for shift 1 students. So if you're just taking this question, see the same question that got asked for shift 3 commerce students. But the difference is that here they got asked you need to identify the true statement. But in that question, they just got asked you need to find the incorrect statement. Okay, so that's the only thing. The other way, the options or the various elements given in these questions are same to that question also. Okay, so yes, so the first one, a firm is a price taker. Whether a firm is a price taker? Yes, a firm is a price taker, that is true. In the long run, a firm is in equilibrium when its AR is equal to MR is equal to LAC is equal to LMC, that is average revenue, marginal revenue, long run average cost and long run marginal cost. That is also correct. What about C? A firm is in equilibrium in the short run only when AC equal to AR equal to MR is equal to MC. That is false. Then D, a firm reaches its shutdown point when price goes below its average cost. That is also wrong. And E, a firm fixes the price of its product when AR is equal to MR. That is also incorrect. So the correct answer for this question include A and B because C, D, E are wrong statements. So for that question, as I already specified that for shift 3, they got asked the same question, but the question was you need to identify the incorrect statement. So for that, you can actually include the option C, D, E also. Okay. Anyway, the correct answer for this question is option B, as it includes option A and B. Okay. Moving to question number 67. Which of the following forces push up the productivity of employee in an organization? Again, a question from human resource management. So you need to identify the various factors which is actually increasing the productivity of an employee. Difficulty to work, fear of working self out of job, egoistic drive to accomplish, then desire for promotion, motive towards doing work. So here you need to identify some positive factors. Okay, there are some positive factors which is actually pushing an employee to give more productivity. If there is difficulty in work, that is not going to give a push for the productivity. So A should not be there. B, if there is fear, then also it is not going to improve your productivity. Then C, egoistic drive to accomplish. If a person is always like he has an egoish mind that he should attain it. Okay, so if such aspect is there, it will of course increase their productivity. Desire for promotion. If a particular person is desiring to get promoted, he will also work hard. So productivity also increased. Then motive towards doing work. So if he had a good motive to do work, so that's also can act as a productivity factor. So C, D, E should be there. Yes, the correct answer for this question is option D, C, D, E only. Moving to question number 68. Who are not eligible to get information under RTA Act from the following? So this is a question from legal aspects of business, and here they got asked who is not eligible as per RTA Act. Okay, who are not eligible as per RTA Act, like to get information. You just need to identify a combination of answers from this particular question. If it is about corporation, see, corporation is able to get information as per this RTA Act? No. So, A should be there in your option. B, association is also not able to get. What about C, that is company? Company is also not able to get information. D, citizens. Yes, citizens have the right to get information. So, we are saying about that one only. Okay, so D should be there. E, legal entity is also not included. So, here you need to like the person or the one who is eligible to get information as per RTA Act is the citizen. So except that, all should be there. Corporation, association, companies, legal entities. So A, B, D, E. A, B, D, E. Yes, the correct answer for this question. I mean A, B, C, E. Like D is citizen, sorry. So A, B, C, E. D is about citizen. So D should not come for this question. Okay, so yes, A, B, C, E. So the correct answer is option B. Moving to question number 69. Which one of the tests measures the applicant's level of knowledge and skill in a particular job in which one he will be appointed? So, we know that there are different types of tests. So which type of test is actually evaluating or giving focus to the level of knowledge and skill of a person in a particular job, or which test can be used to identify such characteristics of an applicant. What was that? It is about achievement test. Using achievement test, it is able to analyze about their skill which is needed for the job. Okay, so yes, the correct answer for this question is option B. And moving to question number 70. Which one of the following duties is not a general duty of a director of a company? Okay, so here you need to identify the general duties of a director. So if you're able to identify the general duties of a particular director, it is very easy to answer this question. This question is very direct. Duty of good faith in order to promote the object of company. Yes, of course. Duty of due and reasonable care, skill, diligence, and shall exercise independent judgment. That is also correct. Duty to attend board meeting. Is that a general duty? No, it is not a general duty. So, C will be the answer. Then duty not to delegate or assign his office assignment. So, which one is not his general duty? It is the duty to attend the board meeting. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option C, that is duty to attend board meetings. Okay, so moving to question number 71. Arrange the following steps in a logical sequence of the process of management audit. So this is from accounting and auditing module, and you need to arrange the process which is related to management audit. Okay, so A, identification of responsibility centers. B, review of organizational structure. C, reporting. D, identifying and segregating the objectives of business. And E, review of performance of each responsibility center. So the first thing is that you need to identify the objectives of the firm. So we'll just go for option D. That means it is about identifying and segregating the objectives of business. Okay, so firstly it starts with D. Then it is about reviewing the organizational structure. You need to review your structure, the structure of organization. So D, B. Then it is about identifying. After reviewing this organizational structure, you need to identify the responsibility center. So A. Then after identifying, you need to review the performance of each responsibility center. And finally, it is about reporting. Okay. So the order goes like D, B, A, E, C. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Okay. So that was an easy question. Then moving to question number 72. Again, a question from accounting and auditing. The contribution margin can be increased by which of the following? So this is a question from costing area, and contribution margin, it is about the PV ratio. So how you can increase? Okay. So increasing the selling price per unit, whether the selling price per unit increased, what is happening to your PV ratio, whether it increases or not. When you're taking this case, that means if the selling price is increasing, if the selling price per unit increases, we know that selling price minus variable cost will give you contribution. So contribution also rises. If contribution rises, automatically your PV ratio will increase. So A is a situation where your contribution margin is going to increase. So A should be there in your option. Then B, changing the sales mixture and selling more profitable products for which the PV ratio is higher. Okay, so if you're just checking this, you're making a change in your sales mixture, how this and selling more profitable products. So you're giving importance to more profitable ones. So if you're producing more profitable products and if you're giving more focus to that, again that will going to give you more benefits. Okay, so in that situation also your PV is going to improve, or contribution margin, your profit is also going to increase. Yes, B can also be such a situation. So A, B should be there in your option. Then C, keeping marginal cost unchanged. If the cost is not getting any change, what is the benefit that you're going to get? Nothing. Then increase amount of fixed cost. Fixed cost is not going to do nothing with this. Okay, and if this, we know that when the fixed cost is going to increase, okay, if the fixed cost is going to increase, ultimately your profit will decline. Okay, that's also a situation. Then decreasing selling price per unit. If you're increasing your selling price, your PV ratio is improving. So if you are decreasing it, what will happen? Your PV ratio or the contribution margin will fall. So is not at all correct. So A and B are the only options which can use for this situation. So the correct answer for this question is option C, that is A and B only. Okay. Now question number 73, again a direct question. This is from your income tax area. If the assessee is engaged in the business of growing and manufacturing tea in India, the agricultural income in that case, okay? So if it's a situation of growing and manufacturing tea in India, how much of it is actually considered as an agriculture income, okay? So while calculating this, we will include 60% of income as like 60% of such income as agriculture income. Okay. So the correct answer for this question is option C. That was a direct question. Again, you have a question from your income tax area. It is about a calculation. Okay. So A is entitled to children education allowance of rupees 80 per month per child for 3 children. Its amounts to rupees 240 per month. It will be exempted to the extent to which of the following under Indian Income Tax Act. Okay, so you need to identify or you need to calculate the total exemptions that is able to avail by this particular person A. Okay, so actually by calculation you will get it as 160. Okay, that's the correct answer, 160 per month, option B. Now question number 75. Which one of the following statistical identities are useful for comparing two regression equations based on different sample size? Okay, that is again a question from business statistics, and it's a situation like which of the following identities you are using if it's a case of two regression equation and if it is based on different sample size. The size of sample for both these are different. Okay, if it is coefficient of determination or coefficient of multiple determination or adjusted R square or it is logistic regression. It's a case of adjusted R square. So the correct answer for this question is option C. Now it is about question number 76. Logically sequence the following stages in organizational life cycle of a business. So it is about the life cycle of a business. Okay, in the last question, like the previous question, we already discussed about the product life cycle. So it is about the life cycle of the business. Okay, again you have you need to arrange them in proper order. So just see the questions. So we saw so many statement questions, like you have 2 or 3 statements, you need to identify which of them are correct or wrong. Then you have match the following question, number of match the following question which we already saw. And again see, you have, if it is a case of some process, you need to make them in a proper stages or you need to arrange them in a proper sequence. So all these questions are much time consuming. So if you should have time management, that is necessary. That's why I'm just repeating it again and again. Okay. So yes, so it is about the organizational life cycle of a business. Expansion, survival, consolidation, startup, decline. So it's very easy to go through these options. So firstly, we know that it is anyway it is going to start up. Firstly, it should start. Then only you are going to say about the life cycle. Okay. So first option or first the process should start with option D. So when you are going with D, you have 3 options. Option A, C, D. All these options are starting with D. Anyway, based on that, you can actually eliminate option B as it is starting with option B itself. Okay. Okay, so the first step is startup. So after startup, what will be the second stage? It is about survival. They need to survive. They just started, but we are not able to predict that whether they are going to have a wonderful growth. So firstly, they need to survive. So D, B. Okay, then it is about consolidation. Okay, they need to consolidate. Then it is about expansion. After that only they are going to make an expansion, and finally, so it's a last stage, like a product life cycle also, its last stage is decline. So like a way that here also the last stage is decline. So if you have an idea that it should start with startup and it should end with a decline, you can you can see that it is actually specified in option A, C and D. So in all these options, it is starting with D and it's ending with E. But if you have an idea that after startup, it is about survival, then you are able to answer the question very easily. So the order goes like startup. Firstly, it's about startup, then it is about survival, then consolidation, expansion and decline. Okay. Now moving to question number 77, again you have a calculation and it is about calculating interest coverage ratio. See, this is also a question from management accounting, that is about ratio analysis. We already saw a question from ratio analysis. It is about you have to arrange the equations based on the industrial sickness. Okay, so here you have EBIT, that is earning before interest and tax, or operating profit, which is 35 lakh, 15% term loan, which is 50 lakh, working capital term loan from bank, which is 20%, that is for 30 lakh, then 10% preference capital, which is of rupees 10 lakh, and public deposits 14%, which interest is 14% of rupees 15 lakh. Which among the following is interest coverage ratio for the company? So based on this information, you need to calculate ICR, interest coverage ratio. Here you can see that it is about the company is to make a lots of interest payment. So based on that, you are able to calculate by using the equation. Directly you are able to calculate this problem and you will get answer, which is option C, 2.24. So we will discuss about all these calculation, all these problem in detail in another video. So here just we are introducing you the questions and the answer, which is for those questions. Okay, moving to question number 78. The purpose or the aim of stock split is to. Stock split is a common term which we are normally using in business, finance and all. So here, what do you mean by, or what's the purpose of stock split? Increase the number of shares, reduces market price per share, arrest share price decline, encourage wider public ownership, reduce the impact of cost. So you need to identify the aim. What is the purpose or why we are making a stock split? So you need to go based on that. So when you're making a stock split, the main purpose are, this is also very direct, it is to reduce your market price per share, and also it is about encouraging a public ownership. You need to have a wider ownership. Okay, so that's about B and D. Okay, the purpose is not at all for increasing the number of share, it is to increase the wider public ownership. So B and D should be there in your option, and yes, the correct option for this question is option B. Moving to question number 79. Okay, again here you have to arrange them in proper sequence. It is about hierarchy of effects model in communication situation. So you can see this question in your marketing module, and it is about, we are studying a lots of communication model like IDA model, all these are part of this. So here they got asked you about hierarchy of effects model. So in hierarchy of effects model, they have just given the proper sequence. So if you are able to study about the hierarchy of effects, it will be very easy to answer this question. This is a very important model and the answer is also quite direct. Preference, purchase, awareness and knowledge, conviction and liking. So this is actually saying about how a consumer is getting to purchase a particular product based on this communication tool. Okay, so firstly it is about he should get some awareness or knowledge regarding that product, and based on that he will have some likings. Okay, he will like something. Okay, and after liking it is about preference. So he likes something, so what all are his preferences? Okay, now it is about after that, like now you have some preferences, and after that it is about conviction. You are convinced with something, and finally it's about purchase. So purchase is the last decision that you are taking. Okay, so first you should get some awareness, and then you should like something, and you should prefer something, and then you should go for conviction, and finally it's about purchase. Okay, so CEADB. So the correct answer is option D. Moving to question number 80. When the incoming partner cannot bring premium for goodwill, then the necessary adjustment for goodwill is done through which one of the following? Okay, so you can see this particular question, this is actually from partnership accounts. Okay, so here the situation is, if an incoming partner, if he is not in a situation, that means we know that when a particular partner, a new partner is admitted into firm, he should bring capital and he should also bring goodwill for the sacrifice which is made by the existing partners or old partners. Okay, so in this situation, if the incoming partner is not able to bring his goodwill, so what is the adjustment or what is the journal entry that you are going, or how you are going to adjust the goodwill? You are preparing goodwill account of the partners, or capital account of new partner, or balance sheet of new partner, or profit and loss appropriation of account. So it is just you are making an adjustment in the capital account of new partner, because he is the person who should give this to the firm. Okay, so we are adjusting it with the capital account of new partner. Okay, so that is very important, just keep it in mind. Okay, you should make adjustment with the capital account of the new partner, which partner is entering, or the which partner is entering to the firm newly. He is the person who is able to, or who should give the goodwill, the share of goodwill to the partners, all partners. So in such a situation, we are adjusting the amount of goodwill that he should brought to business with his capital account itself. Okay, so the correct answer for this question is option B. So moving to question number 81, arrange the following process of making a contract in the chronological sequence from the first to the last. So this is a question from legal aspects of business. So when you are just going through the previous year question, you can see that this type of question, that means just to arrange the process of making contract. This particular question was repeatedly asked. Okay, I'm just saying for the previous year 2 exams. Okay, so this topic is very, very important. We already done video with regards to the Contract Act and all. So just do watch all these video. So which is very important for the next time also. There is a chance that they just can ask question from this area, like it is for arranging this particular process, or it can also be something related to the various concepts of Indian Contract Act. So which we already discussed in detail in our previous videos. So let's start with the options given: agreement, promise, offer or proposal, contract, acceptance. So firstly, it is starting with offer. Somebody should offer it, or somebody should give some proposal. So if you are able to identify the first option, that means it should start with option C, offer. Then you are able to answer the question very easily. So you can see that there is one option which start with option C. So if you are able to know that offer or proposal is the first step, so there itself you are just be with the correct answer. Okay, then after getting some offer or acceptance, like you are just getting some offer, you should accept it. Okay, that's the second step, C, E. So if offering is there and somebody is accepting that, then it will become a promise. So C, E, B. Okay, then it is about agreement. If promise is given with some consideration, you can consider it as a agreement, and if with agreement it satisfy all the legal formality, then it will become a contract. Okay, so C, E, B, A, D. That was a direct question, and the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to question number 82. So this is a question from business finance, and it is about hypothesis. Okay, so as I already mentioned that when you're going through a particular theory or approach, assumptions are very, very important. So here it is about you need to identify the critical assumptions. Okay, so let's see the question. The hypothesis of irrelevance of dividend is based on which of the following critical assumptions? So you need to identify the assumptions which is given in hypothesis. So the first one, investors are able to forecast future prices and dividend with certainty. That means investors are rational. Yes, that was an important assumption in case of approach. So A should be there. Okay. Then the firm has given investment policy which does not change. That means the investment policy is rigid. Of course, that was also an important assumption. Moving to option C, all financing is done through retained earnings. Yes. So when you're considering that all financing is done through retained earnings. So in case of hypothesis, thus we specified that all firms, like the firm should finance only through retained earnings. That means the fund which is retained in the business from its profit. No, there was no such a consideration is given. You can see all financing is done through retained earnings is given in case of a relevant approaches. Okay, not in case of irrelevant approaches. So C is not an assumption related to approach. Then there are no taxes. Yes, there are no taxes. So D should be there. Perfect capital market in which investors are rational. Yes, that was also an important assumption. So you can actually exclude option C, except that all options should be there. So A, B, D, E. Yes, so the correct answer for this question is option C. So just see that assumptions are very, very important. Again, you have a match the following question, and here you have list 1 and list 2. List 1 is saying about economic framework, and this is actually from market forms, like it is saying about specifying about oligopoly market. So here you have Stackelberg model, Nash equilibrium, Peters strategic framework, prisoner's dilemma. And the list 2 is about the situation in which each player in an oligopolistic market adopts its dominant strategy but could do by cooperating. Okay, then second statement, conceptualization for identifying the structural determinants of the intensity of competition and the probability of the firm in oligopolistic industry. If the firms are disproportionately powerful, the market leader makes the first move and captures 2/3 of the market share, while follower firm gets only a third of the market share. Then a situation in which each player has chosen his or her optional strategy given the strategy chosen by other player. Okay, so you have different options which is related to this. So based on that, you need to identify the proper explanation which is related to each of this. So if you're going through the options, firstly, it is Stackelberg. You can see that it is the situation if the firms are disproportionately powerful, the market leader would have the first move and capture 2/3 of the market share, and the follower will get only 1/3. So such a thing is actually specified in Stackelberg model. So you can actually connect A3. So if it is A3, you have two options. You can go for option B or option C. Then, second one is Nash equilibrium. Nash equilibrium is actually a situation in which each player has chosen his or her optional strategy given the strategy chosen by other player. Okay, so B4, A3, B4. Okay, A3, B4, when you are going with such an option, you have only one option, that is B. Anyway, with C can be connected with the 2. Conceptualization for identifying structural determinants of intensity of competition and the probability of firms in an oligopolistic industry. Now the remaining one, the D, which can be connected with which one? Which can be connected with the first situation, the situation in which each player in an oligopolistic market adopt its dominant strategy but do not by cooperating. They are not going for any cooperation, they are just using their dominant strategy. Okay, so the options go like A3, B4, C2, D1. That is option is B. Okay, yes. Moving to question number 84. Arrange the procedure followed for disbursement of export credit in sequence from first to last. Again, you can see that it is about arranging the procedure. Okay, so a number of sequencing questions also there for your exam, right? So first to last, you need to identify the first one to the last one. Okay, so you have the various options also. The first statement, the bank releases the fund debiting to packing, crediting and crediting to the exporter's account. The bank calculates the amount of packing credit to be granted. Then C, the exporter would be required to send the goods through approved transport and forwarding agency. And option D, the exporter is required to take adequate insurance. And option E, submit evidence of a export. Okay, so these are the given procedures for this. So firstly, you need to identify the first one. When you are just going through the options which is given, you can see that firstly you should go for or submitting your evidence. Okay, submit your evidence. So an option that should start with E. So yes, coming to your option, there is only one option which start with E. So with that itself, you are able to answer the question. Since we will go through the remaining options also. Submitting evidence, then the bank calculates the amount of packing credit to be granted, how much to be granted. That will be the second step. Then it is about the exporter would be required to send the goods through approved transport and forwarding agency. After that, it's about approval. So then you will have, first it is about submitting the evidence. Then you should go for, the bank should calculate the amount of packing credit to be granted. Then we missed one particular important thing, that is the bank release the funds debiting to pack. After you're just asking for the amount or the total amount to packages to be granted. After it is about debiting that particular amount. Okay, that's important. Then only you're just going through the exporter would require to send the goods through approved transport. Okay, that's the situation. Okay, and finally the exporter is required to take adequate insurance. You should take the insurance also. Okay, so yes, so the options is going like E, B, A, C, and finally it's about D. So the correct answer for this question is option D. Moving to question number 85. Again, a match the following question. And list 1 is specifying about the types of costing and list 2 is about its description. So marginal costing, ABC costing, target costing, process costing. One, integrated approach to determine product's features, product price, product cost, and product design that helps to ensure a company to earn reasonable profit on new product. The amount of any given volume of output by which aggregate costs are charged if the volume of output increased by 1 unit. Okay, used when identical units are produced through an ongoing series of production steps. Then costing system in which cost being with tracing of activities then to producing the product. So this is also such an easy question. You are able to identify, or you are just familiar with each of these types of costing. You can easily answer this question. Okay, anyway, first we are going through the marginal costing. See, marginal costing, if it's a situation of marginal costing, we are saying about an additional cost. When you are going to produce one additional unit, the extra cost that you need to incur is the situation of marginal cost. Okay, in that way itself, we can actually connect it with option 2, the amount of any given volume of output by which the aggregate costs are changed if the volume of output is increased by 1 unit. So A2. So how many options are there which starts with A2? There are only 2 options. Okay. So you can eliminate option B and D. Now we are going with option. Okay. Next is it is about B. ABC costing. ABC costing means it is giving importance to activities. Okay. So the costing system in which costs are being tracing of activities and then to producing the cost. Okay. So yes. So B itself. ABC means activity based costing. So B can be connected with 4. What about C? Target costing. C, integrated approach to determine the product features, price, cost and design that helps to ensure to earn reasonable profit on new product. It is case of some new products. So yes, target costing can be connected with the first option. And finally, we have one more option that is used when identical units are produced through an ongoing series of production steps. Okay, so if it is the production is happening on a continuous basis and it is a case of homogeneous product, we are actually using which kind of costing? It's a situation of process costing. If it is not continuous, or if the production is happening based on the order, some specific order, we will normally use job costing that we already discussed with some question. Okay. So yes, so A2, B4, C1 and D3. So the correct answer is option A. Moving to question number 86. Again a question from partnership. Which one of the following rights is usually not available to a partner consequent to dissolution of the firm? So with the result of dissolution of the firm, the right which is not available for the partner. Okay, right of equitable distribution of firm's property, it's a right which is already available for him. Right to return of premium of premature wind up, that's also right. Right to be consulted, because they are going to consult in the name of that particular firm. So the firm is not at all there. So the right to be consulted, such a right will be removed. Okay, or that will not be available. So yes, right to restrain any partner or his representative from the use of firm name or a firm property. That is not his right, which you can use in this case. So anyway, he can go with option C, that is right to be consulted. Okay. So moving to question number 87. So you can see that this is also a match the following question, and it is about entrepreneurial theory. Okay, so the list 1 is saying about various entrepreneurial theory and list 2 is about its description. So Thomas Cauchy theory, Rotter's locus of control theory, Maclaurin theory, Max Weber's theory. And when you are coming to list 2, highlights the self-confidence of a person and the dependency on fortune and external environment for becoming an entrepreneur. So a particular entrepreneurial theory says that in order to become an best entrepreneur, you should have self-confidence and you should depend on fortunes, and you should also give importance to external environment. So this is actually specified in Rotter's locus of control theory. Okay, so you can actually match 1 with B. So B1, how many options is there? Okay, you can see that 2 options is like B1. So anyway, that is correct. Now moving to the second situation, that is religious beliefs are the driving or restraining focus of entrepreneurial activity. So your activity or your entrepreneurial activity is based on your belief. If it is based on your religious belief. So who is specified such, or who just thrown such an entrepreneurial theory? So when you are considering the various entrepreneurial theory, it was by Max Weber. who specified that religious belief is the base. Okay, so you can match D with 1. Then the environment in which an individual is brought up determines his entrepreneurial urge. So the environment or the situation in which he is actually brought up, okay, that is the situation, that's the thing which is giving his an entrepreneurial urge. So this is actually specified by Thomas quotient theory. Okay, so you can actually match it with 3. And finally, the need for achievement drives and stimulates. So if a particular person has a need for achievement, he will also stimulate with entrepreneurship. So such a theory is actually brought by whom? That was by the McClelland. Okay, so McClelland was the person who just said that it is your achievement need that will specify you. So A3, B1, C4 and D2. Yes, so the correct answer for this question is option A. Moving to question number 88. Which one of the following approaches of capital structure pleads that debt financing initially increases the value of the firm? However, excess debt financing beyond a particular point reduces the value of the firm. Okay, so this is a topic from business finance and it is about capital structure theories. We know that there are mainly 4 capital structure theories which already specified in the given options: net income approach, net operating income approach, traditional approach, Modigliani-Miller approach. So these all approaches says the changes in capital structure is going to affect the firm in any manner. Okay, so here it is specified that an approach which says debt financing initially increases the value of the firm. That means if you are using debt, that will going to increase your value of the firm. But you're again using the debt financing in the concern. That means rather than the capacity or the maximum capacity of the firm, you are just after that also that it was in border. That means the maximum capability is achieved there, but after that again you are going to depend on debt financing. What happens beyond a particular point, that is going to reduce the value of the firm. So such a stage is actually explained in case of a traditional approach. Okay, in traditional approach we are specifying the thing which is going to actually happening by the changes in capital structure in 3 stages. Okay, anyway, the correct answer for this question is option C, traditional approach. We already discussed about detail about all these approaches in our previous videos. You can just check the previous videos related to capital structure theories. Anyway, the correct answer is option C. Moving to question number 89. Again, a match the following question, and this is also from business statistics. So the first list says about various statistical identities and second list is about its description. So A, power of test, B, standard error, C, P value, and D is about F test. Okay, and the first one is saying that maximum level of significance at which null hypothesis would be accepted. What is that level? It is the P value. Okay, so that is a direct question. Then test for significance or regression equation, which is that the test which is for significance or for regression, it is a case of F test. We are using F test for that purpose. Okay, then standard deviation of an estimate from a sample is actually the standard error, that is the deviation which is happening, right? And finally, the probability that test will lead to rejection of null hypothesis when it is true. Such a situation is known as power of test. So yes, so you can go for the options like A4, B3, C1, D2. So the correct answer for this question is option B. Moving to question number 90. Which one of the following categories of customers are opinion leaders who carefully search for new technologies that might give them a dramatic competitive advantage? So you can see that this is actually from innovation theory, okay, which we already discussed as a separate video. So you need to identify which category of customers we are considering them as a opinion leaders. That means based on their opinion, more customers going to prefer the particular product. Okay, so who is that person or who is that category? It is early adopters. A very direct question. So its correct answer is option A. Okay, now coming to question number 91 to 100, you can see that these are passage questions. Based on the passage, you need to answer 5 questions. From each passage, you will get 5 questions. So for shift 1 students, you can see that the first set was a passage and the second set was a problem. Okay, so you just given some information, based on that you need to calculate some of the values that we will discuss. So firstly, it was about a passage which is related to monetary policy and all, which is related to RBI and all. So after making a thorough reading with regards to this passage, you will be able to answer the 5 questions based on this. Okay, so the first question from this passage was, which one of the following statement is not true? Both center and state should share the tax cut equally. GDP this fiscal would find it difficult to recover the size attained at the end of 2019 to 20. Curtailment of demand via higher interest rates can be used in a limited way. Chalking of supply side price shocks will affect growth adversely. Okay. So by reading the passage, you are able to answer this very easily, as the passage was comparatively easy. So the correct answer for this question was A. Both the center and state should share the tax cuts equally. Question number 92. Which one of the following is the cause of inflation as per the passage? So you may have a number of information, or you are able to answer, or you are able to identify the different causes of inflation. That's fine. But after reading this passage, based on that passage only, you are going to, or you should answer this question. Okay. So based on that particular passage, it is a situation of supply disruptions. That was the reason for the inflation. Okay. So the correct answer is option C. Question number 93. Which one of the following measures the RBI can take to consolidate growth? Reduce tax on fuel price, reduce import duty, increase access to credit MSME, micro, small, medium enterprises, then absorb price increase by providing subsidies. So as per the passage, it was option C, that is increase access to credit by MSMEs. Okay. Moving to question number 94. Which one of the following is most desirable to consolidate growth? Reduce interest rate, increase interest rate, suppression of demand, stimulate additional supply. That was D, stimulate additional supply. The last question from this passage was an assertion reasoning question, and the assertion is like this. The policy response appropriate for inflation caused by excess demand would be wholly suited for inflation caused by a spike in energy price. And reason, the right way to combat elevated inflation right now is to reduce the burden of the taxes that energy bears in India. Okay, so by reading this particular passage, you can see that A is not correct. A is an incorrect statement. But when you are going with the reason, it is correct one. So you can say that A is incorrect and R is correct. Yes, so the option for this is option D. Now, here you have a table of information. And based on this, you need to answer question number 96 to 100. Okay, so let's see the question. The following information is available with respect to a company manufacturing a particular product. Sales per unit is given 20, variable manufacturing cost per unit 11, variable selling cost per unit is 3, fixed factory overhead per year is 5,40,000, and fixed selling cost per year is 2,52,000. Okay, so based on this information, you have 5 questions to answer. So the first question from this was, which one of the following is the PV ratio for the company? We know that in order to calculate PV ratio, the major equation that we are using is contribution divided by sales multiplied by 100. And what is this contribution? Sales minus variable cost. So say sales is given here, which is 20, and variable cost include both the manufacturing and selling cost. So 20 minus 11 plus 3 is the contribution divided by sales. By doing this, you will get the answer as option C, that is 30%. Okay, so moving to the next part, which is about calculating break-even point in units. So what is the equation for calculating break-even units, a break-even point in units? So if you want to calculate in units, you should use the equation fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. So fixed cost is already given in your question. I mean, 2 fixed cost is given, you have to take both of them. Then divided by contribution per unit, which we already calculated. Okay. So by calculating it, you will get 1,32,000 units. Okay. That's a correct answer for this question. Then question number 98. Which one of the following is desired sales volume in units to earn a profit of rupees 60,000? So it's a situation that the profit is given. and you need to calculate the sales needed. Okay, so the equation is very simple: fixed cost plus desired profit divided by PV ratio. So fixed cost is there, desired profit is 60,000, which is given in your question, and PV ratio, which we already calculated in the first part, which is 30%. So that is 1,42,000 units. And moving to the next question, which one of the following is the desired sales in rupees to earn profit? So here, if it is a case of like you need to find the sales volume in units, you need to divide it with the contribution per unit, okay? And if you need them in rupees, you should divide it with the PV ratio, okay? So fixed cost plus desired profit 1,20,000, then divide by PV ratio. You will get the amount as 30,40,000, okay, 30,40,000. And moving to the last question, which one of the following is the break-even point in terms of rupees? So if you want to calculate in rupees, fixed cost divided by PV ratio. So by using this equation, you will get it as 26,40,000, which is the correct answer for this question. So in this video, we discussed questions and answers on December 2021, June 2022 MERS cycle, which was held for commerce students on 29th September shift 1. So through this video, you will get a proper idea that how the questions are asked or which topic you need to focus more, how questions are asked from a specific area. So these points are very important when you are preparing for the next NET exam. So when you are considering the whole questions, you can see that a number of statement questions are asked, or a number of match the following questions, and also sequencing questions got increased. So if you want to answer all these questions very well, it is important that you should have a time management. So proper time management is very important, that you should complete this total 150 questions within 3 hours. So I hope this video will help you for your preparation. Thank you and happy learning.